common info that Splatoon 3's maps are bad. But why is that? How did they change the game for the worse? How did we get here? And can things get better? Today, we're going to discuss just that, with 3 stages. Let's get into this. Now, if you look at this stage, it's a very open stage, which is great and all. But if you take a look at its picture, now, keep in mind, I don't know the name of this stage off the top of my head, so please tell me if you do in the comments what the stage's name is. Now, if you look at this picture, it's an open stage, as I've stated, but it also has plenty of sniper perches, which is a problem, because sniper-friendly stages are bad for people like me who are bad against snipers. And it's also not as friendly for the meta, because it doesn't allow for much head-to-head stuff because you're dealing with a sniper-friendly stage. So the snipers can just pick people off. Like, bam, 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 and then there you have it. You know, wipeout. Which is a problem for rookie teams. Because you get an all-sniper pro team, and you just got pick off, pick off, pick off, pick off, boom, wipeout. But that's a problem. But, as you can see, there are plenty of open areas to encourage head-to-head stuff, which is good for the meta, but sniper-friendly stages can be an issue. Now, it's not at all a bad thing, it's just not the best, you know? In terms of situations, I mean, you want a stage that's friendly for all types of weapons, not just friendly to snipers and so-so to the others. But at least it encourages head-to-head combat, which does help. Now, if we look at the next stage, you'll see that it is a very interesting design, with what looks like a bird cage on top of this pole here, and then a weird skull-like thing over here. Now, it is somewhat open. Okay, a lot more open than I thought. But, while it is open, it's also not as sniper-friendly. It encourages more hand-to-hand combat, which is very helpful to the meta because it encourages you to test your mettle against the other players in hand-to-hand combat with your weapons, which does help. Because if you look at this, it's actually what the other stage should be. Not as many good sniper perches, but plenty of space to do hand-to-hand combat. Face-to-face, without being far away and just being able to pick off, like, boom, there you go. You're forced to get in the thick of it and fight for your life, like everybody else. Even if you're a sniper, because there aren't as many good sniper perches. Now, I'm not sure of the name of this stage either, but that's just me. Now, on to this last stage. It is what both stages should definitely be. Not quite as open, and not quite as sniper-friendly, but just open enough to kind of be friendly to snipers in a sense. But not as friendly as the first one. But not quite as open as the first or second. It's just the right amount of open, with just the right amount of enclosed. It's the perfect stage to test your skills. Now, I believe this one's name is Mincemeat Metalworks. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. But this stage is an interesting one, because it does force you to test your skill in hand-to-hand combat against other players. But it can also be somewhat friendly to snipers, so you can test your sniper skill. Somewhat. Now, it's not exactly an entirely sniper-friendly stage, but it can be useful to snipers in some sense. But it is more friendly to testing your skills in face-to-face stuff. You know, in the thick of it kind of combat. Snipers aren't as good at that. Snipers prefer distance. But, now, the question is, why are these stages and other Splatoon 3 stages bad? Now, the answer is simple. They aren't bad in a sense, they're just worse than the previous 2 games. Now, will they fix that in the future? I don't know. How do we get here? I don't know. I'm not sure anyone can really answer how we got here. But that's just me. Personally, I just think it was an oversight as far as stage design is concerned. That's how I believe we got here, is, you know, honest human error. The stages are worse because of honest human error, and they didn't entirely think it through before they designed the stages. Now, how do they change the game for the worse? Now, as I said, they don't necessarily seem like bad stages, but they do change the game for the worse because it is kind of hard, to get good on some stages, and some stages are really good for some classes and really bad for the rest of the group. But that's just me. Let me know your opinions. How can things get better? Simple. How can things get better? In the future, if there's another Splatoon game, maybe they can do better stages. That's how things get better. You learn from your mistakes, and you do better stages in the next installment. Of course, provided there's a Splatoon 4, which I highly doubt, but if there ever were to be a fourth Splatoon game, I think that better stages would be a must. That's just me. What do you think? Now, that is a very interesting thing. Personally, I don't think there's going to be a fourth Splatoon game. Let me know if you think there's going to be a fourth Splatoon game in the comments. I don't think there's a high likelihood of a fourth installment at all, but that's just me. This is speculation on that part, but personally, it's just my opinion. Now, on to the expansion pass. A very interesting thing. Now, the expansion pass is something that you would expect, because the other game, Splatoon 2, had DLC, so you kind of expect Splatoon 3 to have some form of it as well. But the big question is, what exactly is side order? They didn't give much information on side order, which is kind of depressing. Personally, I would have loved to hear some more information on why everything is so white and ghostly. Maybe a little hint to that. And why does Marina's picture look like a hologram? And what is Pearl doing there? And who is that? Octoling. Is it an agent? Is it someone new? Let me know your opinions of the expansion pass and your speculations in the comments. But that's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.